Let's see the comments. Am I live now? It should be live now. Let's wait. Let's wait. All right, I am live. Okay, hi everybody. I'm I'm known as the Grays on Instagram. Let's see. Let's see. Okay. So right now I'm doing a podcast or a talk titled "Why Make Farming Hard." I'm with my mentor today. He's also known as the Tropical Farmer on Instagram. Say hello, everybody. Tropical Farmer.
Hey everyone, how you guys doing?
Hmm.
Tropical Pop.
Okay, Tropical Farmer. So let's get to our talk. So, why make farming hard? Out of the box philosophy on how we gonna manage our farming. So, Jeff and I will just share our experiences with our real life experience and just share it with you guys and how we see our mistakes, and then we want you to learn from our mistakes so you can bypass all the trial and error so everyone can basically be better. Anything else before we start, Jeff?
Uh, no man, just go for it. I'll jump in when I can.
Okay, let's see if we have any comments. Anyways, guys, if you have any question, do ask, and then if we see it and if we like it, we will answer. Okay, don't be shy. So this is so. Anyways, I want to bring you guys to memory lane. So I used to work in a farm around 2022, but it was actually started 2021, but we actually got things really running at 2022. And it was somewhere in Tutong, very remote, far from, you can say, far from civilization. And it was a jungle. So it was like a lot of, it was very different for me from Jeff's old farm. So this is what we grow. This was basically corn, and it was like my, I would say back then it was like my biggest success. Yeah, it was my biggest success. But in hindsight, looking back, a lot of mistakes were made to get there. A lot of it. That's what I'm going to share with
Hey,
you.
don't forget you were growing it without any chemicals. You were just doing it as organically as possible.
Yes, yes. So we're organic farmers. So we were just, it was really difficult to do it in the jungle, but we manage. As you can see, I got corn, get going. But again, doing organics is, it's like very slow and steady, and it takes a lot of patience. So as a young farmer like me, fresh off the boat, I couldn't, sometimes I can't resist rush, and sometimes it does. You got to be patient. So I always have to remind myself, oh, it's okay, take your time. But it does get to me sometimes. Yeah. So in this old farm of mine where I used to work at, it had one resource. If you're familiar with Tongkat Ali, it's like that special herb. It's a root that they crush into powder and then they drink it as a tea or coffee. It's for like male virility. And in that forest, we had abundance of it. So you can see my friend over here, when we harvested, the root was almost like 4 feet long. And we had thousands of it growing everywhere. And it's like, you can say like an infinite amount, in my opinion. Yeah. And it was easy to spot because the leaves are very like significant. And also in the forest, we had a ton of fruit trees. We had durians of many kind. We had the wild one. They call it like durian asli. It's not like the fat, big, white, creamy one. It's the one with the yellow insides. Yeah, and it's over like 20 years old, so they were fruiting. So that was one of like the already established assets in the farm.
Very natural.
But
It was really, really natural.
yeah, but we didn't focus on that. That was my mistake. We like veered off from like what's already available, and then I was very stubborn, or we were very stubborn. So like what we did was we got an excavator and like cleared the whole, not the whole, but cleared like a big chunk of land. Like all the trees were just destroyed, all the soil was scraped, and then just laid aside on the edges of the forest. Well, that lot we destroyed. Then we had to like dig the land to create, just to do some chunkle work, cut a lot of grass, and all under the hot sun. And like there are days when there's no clouds, so it's you're overheated, you're dehydrating, you're sweating your eyes out. And then there are days when it's like raining, and then the ground just gets really muddy. So like your boots are just 5 kilogram ankle weights, and you have to walk all day in that. So we're just like tired and exhausting the whole way. So like all for that decimation, that Cobeco, that excavator, just to make like grow beds like this, to grow corn, just to look like this, because this is like how we imagine corn to be, you know. Now, like when I was growing up, I see how corn is grown. Oh, it's in a straight row. The beds are like leveled up, and they're all equal, all distant, and it must be flat land. That's the most like significant bit, because like the old farm I was at, it was not flat land. It was filled. It's all hills, you know. You know, Brunei, it's not flat land. Tropical country, we have like hills, mountains, valleys, but we want it flat. That's why a lot of people hire the excavator and just like, you know, man-made the land. So all
Yeah,
that effort just to grow corn is like,
dude, we got no mountains, man. We got no mountains here. It's all just hills. Just
okay,
Brunei,
it's
it's all
all
hills, no mountains.
well, you're climbing a hill. You're not gonna think it's just a hill. It feels like a mountain.
It feels like a mountain. It's not a mountain.
But yeah, all
I
for that
remember
to
that.
grow corn is just really, you know. So it looks like that, you know. And then at the edge we put fencing, because again you're in Brunei, so like your number one main problem, if you're in the forest, it's wild boars and monkeys. But the monkeys are the one that really kill your crops. They steal, they eat. They probably like took maybe 20% of all my crops there. So that was really painful. Yeah, but again, you got to accept that. You know, it's nature, so you got to accept that. But yeah, all for that for corn. It did go well. A lot of my customers say it tasted amazing, like it's the best corn they've tasted. So it did make me happy. It was a success. However, it felt like I did, how to say, I felt like there could have been a simpler path to that success. You get what I'm saying, Jeff?
Yeah, this is also determined by the market. You were following, you're listening to the market. They were dictating to you. They were telling you what you should grow, and not what the land was telling you that the land should be growing. So the devastation, we don't have enough knowledge. See, we don't have enough knowledge about what happens when that excavator comes in and just destroys everything. It's actually a restart button. You had a lot of life there in the beginning, and it's all just went bye bye straight away, which is really sad to see. But it's become so common here
Mm.
that it's a you got to do it. It's something that you have to do, which you don't.
It felt like
We
it's a basic thing. It's like one of like the early phases of starting your farm. It's clear the land.
Yeah, it's like a must. You must do this. You
Yeah.
don't have to do this. You don't have to. And also, why the funny bit is always someone telling you that you should grow this here because whatever reason. But the land
Something
is already whatever the land is already telling you what it can grow, and you can bypass all this devastation, and you can bypass all these costs. It's expensive. You were really far away, and you have to bring the excavator in for a few days.
on
It's quite expensive.
average, an excavator would cost 500 per day, like rental. You hire the guy to just clear the land, but a day is like 500. So that amount of land it cleared is not just this in the photo. It cleared like maybe 5 times more of that. So it's more than it was a week's worth of excavation. So that's very costly.
Yeah, let me jot that down. That could be another chit chat about using heavy machinery. Because I'm not against. Okay, I'm not against using heavy machinery. Don't get me wrong. There is
Mm.
a time and place to use these things there because they will help you get ready. But gotta know how to use it and when to use it and why. I think there's something. Hold on, let me write it down.
Okay. Yeah. This picture is Jeff's. When I was at my old farm, I brought my guys here to see inspiration, and they saw this. It's also same thing. It's not really. It's flat, so we were like, "Oh, it looks great, right? It looks very pretty. All the produce here looks vibrant." But again, it took a lot for Jeff to get to that stage. How long did it take you for you to be able to successfully grow kale here?
Ah, wow. Uh, it's like a distant memory. It's like a dream that it could actually be done. The one you see there on your bottom left, or my bottom left, is Dino Kale, and right opposite I've got curly kale, and in the middle of the curly kale I got Swiss chard. How long did it take? Oh, I don't know. 2 years.
2 years.
I think it's like 2 years to get to this state. Yeah, trial and error, trial and error. It's grown in the ground organically. I didn't use any
You didn't
NPK
use
or anything like
any,
that.
yeah, NPK,
No, I
no
just want the soil life.
pesticide, no herbicide,
Nah, nah, nah. Just
like
pure soil
100%
life.
organic.
Yeah, yeah. Just whew.
So like this was a phrase Jeff and I like basically like whipped up. It's like things look pretty on the outside, but like behind the curtains, it's a disaster. So like if you want to create, like for me, like this looks great at first back then, nice and flat, corn growing, it was great. But behind all of that, it's it's all like the cost it took, the time it took, the labor it took. It's not worth it, and it backfired. You get what I'm saying? So essentially,
Yeah,
like I wasted my time doing something just to get that look, you know? Because you saw someone else do it, you thought you should do it. It's almost like being kiasu, like if you recall that term. You just don't want to lose out. It's like, oh, I must copy person A because he grew corn. It was like, but you copying that person A is just gonna kill you because you're a different person. It applies to the farm. It's like your farm is completely different from another person's farm. So why would you want to do the same thing? And then while you're doing the same thing, you're hurting yourself like mentally, physically, financially, emotionally. It's almost like how to say insanity. I feel insane sometimes when I'm like doing something frustrating and then I catch myself like, am I crazy? Is this stupid? But yeah, it's just again, it's like, why am I making it hard on myself? You know, like I feel there's always a simpler way, like path to the least resistance. But somehow my, how to say, my dumb self wants to like make things hard, just to feel like, oh, I'm a hard worker, means it's good. You know, like you want to go home and at the end of the day, it's like, oh, today was a hard work. Wow, I did a lot today. But it's really, how to say, fake productivity. You know, you get that feeling. You know that idea of fake productivity. It's like you just do many work. You just look busy, but you're not actually productive.
Yeah, you want
Yeah,
to be
that's
efficient,
yeah. You want to be efficient. You want to do the stuff that actually works. That actually has like the best effect.
of
Not just
value.
look, not just look busy, right? It's like most of the time, like this one, it looked pretty because all the beds are like all uniform, straight, and then they're all in a staircase formation. So it felt really pretty. You know, the idea of it looked pretty, but all the crops I grew there just died, and it was so hard to maintain. Either the crops died or the grass just grew over it. So it's almost pointless. And to like walk there with a grass cutter on your back on the hot sun or the muddy rain, it's like again making it hard for myself. Again, from looking back, I'm like, wow, really, that was really stupid. Yeah. Uh,
Right. So what everyone don't always see, because if you go visit a farm and you tell someone you're going to go visit a farm, we will quickly clean it up as well as we can, so it's
it looks
enjoyable and you
pretty.
come and see. Yeah, it looks pretty, so you come and see. We did the weeding, we cleaned up the grass, but what you don't see is a few days after that, the weed that comes in goes
Mm.
rampant. It's just it takes over until, and it doesn't stop as well. It doesn't
No,
stop.
no,
And not saying that weeds are a bad thing, they're not, but that's
they're
something
not.
to discuss another time.
Yeah. So what you're talking about is like, you know, like when you know people are coming, you just make everything squeaky clean, and then you entertain your guests. After they're gone, you just let everything be, and then the grass just comes back like with revenge, more aggressive. It's it's when we farmers like, you know, deny the reality and want to live in the fantasy land where everything is like all neat and tidy and uniform.
And where did
So
you
it's
get
like
that idea from?
from other people or just from TV, you know.
Yeah,
It's how they
from
portrayed
TV.
how they portrayed farming back then or now. Even now they portray farming to be like, you got to be clean, you got to be tidy, you got to be uniform. You know, you've seen those videos where like the farmland is just like massive flat, and then it's just like one tractor pulling up the vegetable all in one line like this, and then all the vegetable are like on a conveyor belt, just like so easy, so simple. But for Brunei, you can't do that. You don't have the machinery there. You don't have the flat land. You know, to put a tractor in like a hilly farm, you're just asking for disaster.
You did that, didn't you?
Yeah, I did that.
Well,
We didn't
lucky
do. We
you.
used a car and then we got stuck in the hills. But yeah, again, we did. I did a lot of silly mistakes because again, I we didn't like accept the reality. We just forced fantasy on the land, and then you know if you force things, bad stuff come out of it. Never good things when you force. Yeah, good things don't come forced in a way. Most of the time, I mean. Yeah, it's then there's one thing we try to do in the farm also. It's like greenhouse. Like to this day, like I'm not a fan of a greenhouse. I'm like, if someone asked me, should I make a greenhouse? 80% of the time, I would give like a big no. Like, do not invest in a greenhouse. Do not buy a greenhouse. Do not make a greenhouse. It's more trouble than benefit. Like, there's a lot of cons than pros for making a greenhouse. Because I've experienced making a greenhouse, and I've heard a lot about greenhouses, how expensive it is to set it up, and how expensive it is to like maintain. For example, in this photo, this was in my old farm. We wanted to go cheap. We didn't want to buy a greenhouse. We instead made one. So we like bought the steel beams here, and then we bought like the UV resistant tarp, which cost in a total under 1,000, so roughly like $800. But like, I don't have any experience in construction, let alone metal work. So like, carrying that, drilling that was like super difficult for me because I had to learn on the spot. And don't forget, the farm was like remote, so there's no electricity there at all. So we don't have a plug to plug in the tools. So we had to carry a car battery and like, what do you call that? The black and red, forgot that. The wires for the to jumpstart the car, the jumper, right? The car jumpers.
Yeah, yeah.
We had to attach the jumpers to the car battery and then to like an extension that has a plug, and then we plug in the tools. So it was like super heavy, and we had to like climb up a ladder as well to drill these steel beams all together. So we don't have battery, so we don't have electricity, so we had to carry a car battery, and also we're in the sun doing this greenhouse. So it was like, it was basically hell to do it, all for growing habaneros and bell peppers inside. Because we did the math, the theory. Of course, every time we do something, we do the math, see if it pays off our investment, right? Return of investment. So technically, it did in theory pay off because habaneros and bell peppers per kilo, all the maths was made sense. But that's just theory. Again, theory is not with reality. So like, we had a lot of problems, man. Like, at first it grew beautiful, it fruited beautifully, and then suddenly all the fruits just start dropping and rotting, and then we're all just stressing out. And in the end, we didn't manage to recoup the cost, man. Not at all. We just got even more deeper in deficit. Ooh. And again, we like,
Ouch.
and then halfway we felt like, oh, well, let's do something else. Let's do animals because I know animals would sell as well. So we got ducks, and then we got like chicks, and we couldn't manage that too because like, these are small birds that need to be warm at night. So we needed to have a little lamp in their cage. But again, we don't have electricity here because there's no like actual wires connecting to our farm. So we instead got solar panels installed to power the whole area. And then we have to like use the solar power to warm the chicks up at night. But solar is like not 100%, you know? Sometimes it runs out of battery because it's a cloudy day. So like, majority of our animals died as well. So again, another problem like building and piling up. And then we try to build their house while they're there. Again, it's so hard. I don't have carpentry experience. It was miserable for me to again drag the car battery, start drilling, measuring, start drilling, cutting. No, it was horrible, man. But yeah, this is again, look, it looks like legit. It looks proper, but it wasn't worth
Too
doing
much.
it. It
Way too
was
much.
too much effort for not. It's not worth it. Yeah. You see, over here again, we had to like construct more steel beams. It was going against nature. or going against the reality, oh, we want to shade it from the hot sun, so we built this. But it's still, at the end of the day, the crop over there all died. It didn't fruit well. What we harvest was not enough to recoup all that. Ugh. And then we got desperate. We thought like, oh, maybe it's the compost. So we ended up like buying 100 bags of like 10 kilo chicken manure. And then we decided to mix it with like bags of wood shaving. And again, it was under the hot sun. So like imagine a hundred hauling 100 bags of chicken manure that's been steamed because it rained, and then the next day the hot sun came. So like this bag of chicken manure was steaming. So we were all just dying, dragging it and mixing it with the wood shaving.
Right, right. So why are you bringing the chicken manure in now?
Because we thought back then, we thought, oh, the soil isn't good enough. We need to add some fertilizer to it. So we first thought, well, someone advised us, oh, chicken manure is good because everyone does, tayayam from the tamu. They put it on their crops and it grows well, so it should work for you. So we're like, okay, let's buy like 100 bags of it, and it didn't work. It just ended up killing all our crops, and just it killed us because like the next day, two of our two of us just got like sick and feverish because we were just the whole day smelling the fumes of chicken manure. So one of again like a cringy memory, and I wanted to die that day. And I'm looking back, I'm like, such a bad decision. It's like again, why did I do that? It was unnecessary, completely unnecessary.
It was the heat of the moment. It was the heat of the moment. You had a problem you needed to solve. Someone advised
Desperate.
you this. Yeah, desperate. That's it.
We were really desperate, so we made like, well, drastic time call for drastic measure, but this was really just poor decision making out of desperation. Yeah. So this one was like, this picture is you can call it HQ, but again, it was all right, but it was poorly built as well. We were forcing it. This was our sleeping quarters, which was also not the best. It was no ventilation. Those like holes you see were actually just glass panels that never opened. And then above the roof, just right above the roof, there's holes because the construction, well, the man who planned it, he said like, oh, it's to let ventilation through, but in the end, it just let the mosquitoes in at night. So we just suffered if we slept there. At night, it was like hot, and all the mosquitoes were biting us. And then in the day, it's like an oven in there. You can't open anything. So it was again horrible, but what can you do, right? It's the past. It happened. This was our nursery setup. Like, it was horrible. It was on the floor, and then we had to like, crouch down to take care of these. And then halfway throughout the day when you're working, we would accidentally kick things over, and then it would just spill, and all our little saplings just died. Again, it's very desperate and like poor SOP, very poor planning, man.
And you're doing everything else on the land at the same time.
Yes, we were taking care of the corn, we were taking care of the chickens, we were taking care of the ducks, we were constructing those steel beams in the greenhouse while managing a nursery. It was a lot. It was like three of us in the end. It was three of us trying to manage this whole operation. It was a disaster. Remember that chicken manure? All this we added to the plants like that. Like, I just dump it on top of the plants. And like, it grew faster, of course, but by the third week, it just died by the stem. It just rotted and then just died. Like, it never even reached to the point of fruiting at all. and like we've planted, I can safely say like 5,000 habaneros in the farm, and like all just died.
Did you plant 5,000?
Yeah,
Hey,
it didn't look like 5,000. We didn't have the space for 5,000, but every time it died, we just replanted a new one from the nursery,
oh,
you
that
know?
one.
So all this nursery were just like insurance in case when it dies, but like this insurance was always like cashed out and used every single week in, week out. We just like we find like a whole bed of dead habaneros. Okay, dig it up, plant it back. Do the same thing. Put the chicken manure below and on top, and then water it and hope for the best. Always hope for the best. But every week we come back, it died, it died, it died, and then every week we just replant, replant, replant.
Did
Ugh.
you not try to find the reason why it died all the time instead of repeating the same mistake again and again?
Oh,
These
here's the
guys
fun
not.
bit. I knew why it died because the most obvious one was the soil wasn't ready for a demanding crop like habaneros. I knew it. I knew
Time.
from the start. Like it needed time for the soil to be all nice and fluffy and fertile. But again, we were desperate because, you know, this happened, right? The excavator happened. And then I saw the math, how much it costs. And then I wanted to recoup it on top of, the salary of our staff. I needed to do something to recoup. So I thought, okay, habaneros is a good idea. Let's do the habaneros because we have the seeds. We have you because back then you were growing habaneros successfully. So we're like, okay, we have him as an example. He could give us advice. If he can do it, we can do it. So I was desperate. So I was like, okay, plant it, plant it, plant it. And then I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
So even though it died, I was still stubborn. I was too hung up on the idea of if Jeff could do it and he sold a lot of it, we should be okay. We should be okay. So I was very stubborn. Like it's insane because like in this picture, all these you can see little like circles of chicken manure. All of those
Yeah.
were habaneros, and you see how thick the chicken manure were. It's already like you can consider it in not organic anymore because chicken manure is you can't consider that as compost.
No.
So it was like crazy, if you're looking from the outside, what we're doing, it's like plant the habaneros, put the chicken manure, it died, do the same thing, but expect success. When you know the three previous times you did it, it just died. It was insane. But yeah, then we tried to do other stuff, like oh maybe we needed biochar for the fertility, and then yeah, going back to the corn, you know, that was the only thing that worked, that we did and worked. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like the only thing we put effort and then outcome great harvest. So that was like suddenly in the very later bits of my time there before I stopped working there, it was like the only thing I would consider as successful at that time. But again, it took a lot of effort doing it, and it took a lot of time. And how much we sold it, it was like $1 to $1.20 per cob of corn. And
Yeah.
like we always harvest almost 200 per harvest, and we did it twice, two batches. So it's like if you do the maths, just 400, it didn't recoup anything. It looked great, but it didn't recoup if you do the maths. It just you're still in deficit. You get what I'm
It
saying?
look. The thing is, it looked great. See the look.
Yeah,
It looks
it looked
great.
great. Like I posted it on Instagram. I made a pretty video. I was super excited. I was super hyped. I felt great. And then like I went home and then I did all the calculation. I'm like, wow, it did nothing. We're still in. we're still in trouble back then. So I was like, I had to, I had to like give up and call it quits at that farm because I was really not. We were really like how to say a sinking ship. It
Yeah,
was a disaster, but I learned a lot.
it was just the wrong focus. Again, it looks pretty, but it's useless. Although you're going by the quantity, you weren't going by the quality, and then you weren't really using the land itself to its full benefit. That was the problem. You allowed other people to dictate to you what you should have grown, what's best for you, not what the land is telling you what you should grow.
Yeah, again, like stubborn, and I was like, oh, I want this, fantasy idea of a farm of corn and chili, fantastic, but like I ignored what was already there. The durian trees, I ignored that, and then I ignored Tongkat Ali. Here's a zoomed in photo of a younger Tongkat Ali. Is like the roots, basically like the white bit at the bottom is what we use to sell, right?
Yeah.
Then I remember you did the market research for it. Like on the market, it could cost how much per kilo?
Oh man, I can't remember anymore. I can't remember
But
anymore.
like
It was not
I
bad.
remember,
No matter how much it was sales.
yeah, it was
So
easy
you were kind of
sales.
it was sales. Easy sales from day one. Like literally from the first starting the land, you could have got sales already. That's a giver because it's already there. People already use it. You don't need people are willing to accept it, buy it, you can sell it to Granjits, restaurants, you can package it. There's so many ways you could go through using Tokarari because everybody knows what it is. Everyone knows. You don't need to re-educate. And you had abundance of seedlings and mother plants, old plants and new plants. Yeah.
But again, we were just distracted, you know. No, we're more like enticed by other stuff. Like we knew Tongkat Ali would sell, but it didn't look fantastic. Because if we were to bring people to the farm and like, oh, what are you growing? Tongkat Ali. Oh, let's see. Oh, what do you guys do? Oh, we just go inside the forest, pluck a few Tongkat Ali, go home, clean it up, cut it up, and sell. It doesn't sound so like, fantastic.
You
It's not
can't
what
you can't see
it's
it.
not
You
what
can't
you
see
think of
it.
farming.
You can't see it.
What do
It's
you mean you can't
roots.
see
It's
it?
roots. Because it's the root. You can't see the root.
Yeah,
It's in
I
the
can't see what's
ground.
underneath.
Yeah.
But I think it's just like we didn't think, oh, that's not what farming is about. Farming is you need to put the seed in the soil and then wait for it to grow and then sell that. That's farming. So we should do like, oh, we should grow habaneros and corn. Or like taking care of animals, because in the farm you would have a cow and chickens and goats. So like, oh, I want to do that. I want to do that. But that and the reality is you need money to sustain the farm. You doing all the planting and all the animal caring, you're not going to sustain the farm. You're just going to waste money. But Tonka Ali, on the other hand, could have made the farm thrive because we could have sold a lot, but we were stubborn. And that was like one of the major mistakes at my early farm. Yeah. But one good thing is I got my dog there. I found Snow there. Like we were in the middle of the forest and she was like out of nowhere this white ghostly looking dog just pops up. And then I was like, "Oh, where did this little puppy?" She was a small dog, like maybe you can say like 3-month-year-old puppy just start running to us, then like wagging her tail. Then one of my guys, "Oh, we should feed her." Then I'm like, I don't want to take care of a dog. Then it's like, okay, fine, you feed her. Then I'm like, leave it. Then eventually I'm like, okay, I gotta take care of her. If the farm is, going down because I ended up taking care of her a lot in the farm, anyways. So I'm like, once I'm leaving, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna take the dog too. And they're like, okay, okay. So I took the dog all the way from so far in Tutong, bring it to Bandar. She puked a lot, but she's still with me today. You can still see it on my Instagram. Snow.
Very cute, man. Very cute.
But yeah, that was my old farm. So let's show your farm.
Okay.
So this was your old farm.
Oh, hold on. Let's start it back again. All right. Can you bring it back up?
Yeah. Boom.
Right. Okay. By the way, if there's any questions, feel free to ask. Really, will pop it up on the screen.
Mm.
This will all make sense at the end, so just bear with us first. Okay. All right. So this is my memory lane. Woo. All right. So there was one fine day. The end. No, right. So I had an idea, and I wanted to grow eggs. I wanted to do eggs, and I looked at the market, and I thought, hey, you know what? Everyone eats eggs, but no one does organic eggs in Brunei. I want to go into organic eggs, and it's such a great market, organic eggs. So I said to this. My chicks, I did not vaccinate them. They had no hormones. They had, when they're young, I gave them extra feed, as you can see in the yellow container up at the top. And and that feed I infused with enzymes to improve their gut. And if you look at what they're standing on, that's compost. Very carbon-rich compost, which we made beforehand to allow them to stand on and to manure in. There was no smell. We had, I think we started off with 100 and slowly went up chicks-wise. We fed
I
them
remember it was like
papayas
400. Your maximum was 400 hens in your farm.
Yeah, that's when they were older. When they're younger, we had to start slow and build it up. But there was no smell. The whole farm had over 400 chickens, and there was no smell. If you've been to a chicken farm, usually the manure would just hit you right in the face, and you would just want to leave as fast as possible because it's just nasty smell. But there was no smell in this farm. I went to research about how to reduce the smell, and then I went to find out about chickens itself. So I learned about chickens, their habits, how they move, what they ate, how they manured. You know, they don't poo and pee separately. They poo and pee together at the same time. We call it a package.
They call it a package?
Yeah, it's a package. A package of poo and pee at all in one lump sum. Boom, there you go, poo and pee. And
they don't have a bladder, so they're just all of it's from their like large intestine.
It just all comes out one go, and if it accumulates, the smell is just horrendous. But you gotta understand, the manure is nitrogen. It's pure nitrogen, heavy nitrogen, like what you use for your farm. So to counter the nitrogen, I use carbon. I use a lot of carbon. Okay, before the carbon. So that's what the hens look like when they're much older. Beautiful hens, really healthy. You can tell they're not skinny. The feathers aren't flaking off. No molting is bad. They feel really good. And the main source of food was food waste. So I'd approached a vegetable vendor and asked, hey, I will come and take your waste. All their vegetables and fruits that come in, if it's bad, they just throw it out. And that goes to the landfill. I tell you, the amount of food that goes to the landfill is horrendous. It's really, really nasty. So I started taking this, and this was the main feed, one of the main feeds for the chickens. And here is what they look like. Really nice. And
Hey Jeff, you got a comment.
what's that?
You see the
The
comment?
next thank you. Oh, you touched my heart. Oh, thank you very much. Yeah. So one I remember one customer that's mentioned to me that their kid who usually ate the eggs, not mine. They had, let's say, some other company's eggs. They would get eczema. They start scratching when they
Yeah,
eat
a
those
lot of
eggs.
people are allergic to eggs. They would get eczema reaction to it.
Yeah, but then when this parent tried buying for the kid, no reaction. There was zero reaction. So she'll always come and buy the eggs from me. So that's a pure solution. Why do you get eczema or why do you scratch? It's because of the food. The food has way too much chemicals inside, and therefore they give it to the chickens. The chickens lay out in the eggs. You eat them, and then you scratch, you scratch.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that this is the only way, but there should be ways to at least lessen the amount of hormones used or
Reduction.
reduction. Something has to change. We cannot keep on going this direction. Something's got to change. Anyway, thank you, mate. Yoo-hoo! Yeah. So food waste was the main food. Now the food waste together with the chicken manure, that's nitrogen galore. If there was nothing to cut this out, it would be very smelly. And I gotta tell you, there's sometimes it was pungent. It got pungent. So I called the tree pruning company and I just went, yo, your trees, what you do with them? We dump them in a dumpster or take them. Again, can you believe this? That
In the landfill.
goes to the landfill? I was blowing my mind. I can't believe it. So I went and called him. I go, yo, I'll take it all. And he goes, yeah, why not? Because it saves him costs of traveling to the landfill. So he always, once in a while, he'll give me a buzz going, I got 2 trucks of wood. Can we drop it at yours? I go, yeah, come on by, drop it over.
So
And
was
this
it for
one-
free or did you have to hire a truck to get that?
It was free. It was
No way.
free. So I got all this for free. The thing is, sorting this out, look how high that is. That is really high.
Your fence was
Big-
9 foot tall. So that has to be like 10 or 12 feet tall.
Yeah, it was higher because I could stand on top and see everything from the top. It was high. So if you look at that, that's the raw form that comes in with all the branches and all the leaves. Then we'll separate the branches out here, the leaves and the branches. We'll chip them. Bought a chipper, best buy ever. That's where the machine can come in. And we chipped it to this wood, and we sent this wood into the chicken pen, pure carbon to combat the nitrogen.
Well, you can bring that up again in on the next topic of machinery.
Yeah. I'll
Yeah.
jot that down. Right, it's under the machine. How do you machine? Anyway, so combine the nitrogen, the food waste, the wood chips, the wood parts, and the chicken manure. You get this black gold. This is really good compost. Amazing compost. Wait till you get to the end of the slide. Yeah. So this compost, I started using this in the field, and it was beautiful, really rich, light, fluffy, full of life. And I found my worms inside there too. Believe it or not, worms started living inside. Deep in the pile at the bottom, it's full of worms. The chickens don't get to it until we start moving the pile. Then they go crazy because
That pile, was it like hot, hot compost, or was it cool compost?
it was semi because the chickens kept on stepping on it, so they compressed it. and so we had
Yeah.
to keep on moving it. Yeah, but the bottom of the pile was hot. You could see the steam in the bottom. The steam really
Ooh.
puffs up. But you see the amount that we had here, it was a tremendous amount of
Is that a
compost.
thermometer there? That little circle white
Yeah,
thing?
yeah. I was just checking to see the temperature.
How
Yeah, it
hot does
did
it
get
get?
hot. It can get a 70, 65 centigrade.
Mm.
It has gotten to that. And trying to turn that is backbreaking work. So I had to find another one. See all the wood everywhere. All this wood deteriorated. Just got eaten by the microbes. So I took that and bam, the product is the eggs. This is how we started off with the eggs from this healthy chicken. So
So
everything was
cute.
going really nice. Everything was going really nice. We had the eggs. Now that's the thing that we were concentrating on. Eggs. That's our cash crop. Um, a lot of work went into it. I think it took over a year to get to this stage because there was a lot of things to learn, never done before.
Okay, that
Too much
stage of egg
problems.
production, like per week, how much would you produce? Or per day? How about
I
per day on that
I need to
early
look at the books.
stage?
I gotta look at the books. I can't remember.
Because I
Of course,
know
it'll start with
when
handful.
yeah, a handful. But I remember when I came to your farm, it was peak production and like 100 eggs a day, roughly.
Yes, yeah, we hit that. We did hit that. Because these are egg laying hens. These aren't kampong hens. These are the normal hens that you'll find in all the other hen batteries.
Egg.
You'll find these.
Uh,
These are normal ones. These girls are your normal egg laying hens. They'll lay to 5 to 4 eggs a week, one a
so they
day.
were bred to lay eggs.
Yeah, these are all. It's all
Mm,
female, by
mm.
the way. Okay, no males here. We don't want to inoculate the eggs. They're all
Yeah.
females, and they shoot out 4 to 5 eggs a week. If you use kampong chickens, that's completely different. Those are kampong chickens. They are not meant to be egg-laying hens. These are, in a way, hybrid hens. That's how they can go 4 to 5 a week. I mean, Brunei
Okay,
has very
okay.
little resources. Yeah. So this state, this is our main cash crop, our eggs, and then this is the waste product. The waste product from all the chicken manure and all the
The
carbon
wood
and
you got.
food waste. This is the waste. Compost. Compost was the waste product of this business, if you like.
It was your
Amazing or
byproduct
not,
of
right?
your project.
Yeah. This is a waste product because the chickens after a while, this is just the chickens don't care for this anymore.
Mm.
There's no macro insects inside anymore. Only microbiology, like only the ones that they can't see. But all the big insects and worms and all the big stuff,
All
it's all
eaten.
gone. Yeah.
Mm.
So the chickens don't even want to go near this anymore because there's no food in it. So that's a waste product which we, for a while, sold as well. So from a cash crop to a compost to sell. Yeah,
Now you
that
have
was really
two like revenue
two
streams.
products. Yeah, two products right now. Okay, and then the land. Okay, so so the chicken coop you can see on the far left, the fence on the far left. That was the testing area. So my investor wanted to test it because it was only theory. You could never find this in the field. No one has ever done this like that. No one. So we didn't have enough confidence, not enough trust, not enough faith in it. So we only kept it to the corner. So the
Mm.
rest of the field, it was like this. So we planted bananas, and can you believe it? That banana didn't grow. It sat there for a year, grew only a few cm, and that's it. Now this land, let me tell you, this land is a heavy compacted land backfilled with black clay. So it's pure clay. Water
Black
don't run.
clay.
Yeah, it's black clay. Means anaerobic. It's pure
Oh, okay.
anaerobic. If you dig down, it stinks. So you see the ponding, that doesn't go. That does not leave. It stays there throughout the entire time. All the weeds grow really, really crazy. Bananas can't even grow on this because it's that compact,
That bad, huh?
that bad. And then came the bad boy. We all experienced this bad boy. It came and it demolished. We had to start afresh again. He didn't. Okay, so the investor, you can still see the fence at the far end. That's where the chicken coop
That green
is. You
fence,
see
right?
right at the back there. You can tell
Yeah.
it's still good. It's doing well, but still not enough vote of confidence to. The idea is that fence is to cover the entire land and then segregate each land to allow the chickens to go in and out, in and out, in and out. Because the chickens don't mind the water, and then in time make that better. But my investor didn't want to do that. His wording was, "It won't look pretty."
Oh wow.
It won't. Yeah, it won't look pretty. He wants it pretty, like yours, which is green, like short green grass and fields, and like everybody else. He wanted to follow everyone else, and I didn't want that. So after plan, excavator came in, cleaned out the whole thing, and look at that, pure devastation. Oh, nasty. So the excavator.
So all this was clay.
Yeah, it's all clay. From your eyes, from the picture, it seems looks all right.
Yeah, looks all right.
Nah. I wanted to hire a tiller to come and at least break the bits into small pieces. I took a picture,
Yeah.
I took a video, I sent it to a person who rents out tillers. The guy goes, no, not for your land, not for that. No, my tiller
You'll
will
get
break.
stopped.
Yeah, you need a bigger one. I was like, oh, that. And no one does use that. So that didn't work. And I knew this was a bad thing because right now you can tell it's sort of summer season, winter, rainy season's coming. So I gotta plant something, but it's too much.
Oh, in the photo in that time.
Yeah, it was done so fast. I didn't have enough time to prepare.
Mm.
And that's what.
Okay, yeah, that's
See,
clay. Yeah, that's clay.
You see, that's clay. But those cracks are formed during summer, during the hottest times when everything's dry. It cracks.
Yeah.
Then the rain comes. You can see the water at the top. Then the rain comes, and it just softens everything up. Now, there's
Mushes everything up.
There's very little life there. So when we come in with our heavy bodies, I'm not saying that I'm not heavy, but yeah, we come in and step on that, we turn it into pure mud, which makes it even worse.
Yeah.
So how can you use that to grow? Even if you want to till that, it's just going to be nasty. So
what's that you grow over there?
So the first thing I thought, first I used a bit of the compost from the chicken side. I dug up a little bit and I put lemongrass because I thought, hey, lemongrass is a tough plant. It should be able to take it. And I planted, papaya as well. I thought, hey, papaya is a tough plant. It can take it. It shouldn't be a big problem. Nope. They were all very slow. Because imagine it's growing in pure clay. The roots can't go out. The roots
can't penetrate.
Enough life. And this land is like one of the worst case scenarios you can grow on. And I was expected to turn this into the son of
lush. You might as well start growing on concrete.
Yeah, that would have been better than this. Because trying to walk on this, I'll break my knee. My knee's already bad. I was crying, but I still had to fight and get this working. I kept on thinking to grow the right crop. Then the greenhouse. Oh, that bad boy! What a beauty!
Oh wow, what a nice sunset.
So the greenhouse. I did a bit of research and I opted for the sawtooth. You can see it at the top. It's mosquito nests. the side is mosquito nest, and the top allows the hot air to go out. Now, this greenhouse does not
Mm.
have any fan, no
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 AC.
no AC, just pure heat and water. That's about it. And the water is
You had
collected by
pipes there, right?
rainwater. Yeah, pure rainwater. I didn't use any tap water here. It's pure rainwater,
You had
and
tilapias in there.
that later, man. Later.
Okay.
Don't jump the gun. Take your time, man. Don't jump the gun. So this is what it looked like inside. So going forward from, or going backwards to that cracked clay soil,
Mm.
that's what it looks like under the hot baking sun. It's a desert in there, but I think a desert is fluffier than this. Because if you look at that, that is solid. Don't forget it's compacted by excavators using the backhand. The land, the back of the excavator just goes like this, bam, bam, bam.
Oh my
So
god.
it's solid. So we had to come in with the scoop.
It's concrete.
Just well, we could open it up, so it's not that bad.
Okay.
But that's what I started with inside the greenhouse, and I was scratching my head. I had to figure out what else can I do here. So this is what I think. This is about a year and a half to 2 years in. So this is what it looks like at that time. This is actually a video, but I can't play the video.
Mm.
That's me when I'm skinnier. I was baking.
So you put
greenhouse.
chicken manure, your chicken compost.
Chicken compost. I put chicken compost with grass, with dried grass as a mulch, because my main aim is to protect the soil. I don't use any NPK here. It's pure microbiology, right? So this, what I'm using, what I'm holding there is a fork. It's a fork that just goes in the ground and open it up just to keep aerating it. And the microbes themselves will consume the clay particles at the bottom. Give it time, it will consume it. So I did this constantly every time I harvested. Yeah, if I hindsight, super skinny back then. There's a sauna in there. And the other thing I tried was raised beds. Raised beds are not bad. They're not bad, but it takes a lot to fill it. And because the ground at the bottom, if you look at the ground at the bottom, you should break that ground first and then build the bed on top. That way the bed can
It can seep inside.
Yeah, because if it's solid like that, and then you build the bed on top, it's gonna take forever for that to soften up. It'll take forever. You might as well break that up with a jungle, really do work on it, and then build the bed on top and add your compost on top. Now, don't add clay on top of this bed. This is the chicken compost that we added. So add that on top. Later on, I can go into, if you guys want, I can go into the problems and the success of using this sort of bed in a greenhouse.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so next. And then I added my aquaponics, because before I was doing vertical aquaponics. So I had the fish in here, in these two IBCs. I got the water being pumped in, and it was doing beautiful. This one, aquaponics is one of those. I started off with aquaponics dead early in my journey, and it's still there with me, but it is a tough one to go into. It's a tough one. If you guys are interested in it, I can make a little. We can go into this a little bit, but it's a tough one. So I grew sweet Genovese basil in this, and that's good for making pesto. Beautiful. The size of this bad boy is humongous. Right, and then bam, Chinapa came in. So I was thinking, hey, the land's already compacted as it is. The water doesn't seep down; it just sits there. Seriously, I'm not joking. It just sits there. Doesn't penetrate the land. So I thought this is an opportunity to try something else. And I made Chinampa. So Chinampa is developed by the Aztecs. It's a floating island. I just modified it to my circumstance. So we got water on both sides, and inside this water, we had some fish inside the water. And the idea of this is that the island in the middle is soaking up all the nutrients from the side, and it will take care of itself. So one of my things that I really love to do is constant mulch. You should always mulch to keep the life in the soil. Because our sun, it just bakes everything really fast. So protect the soil. Protect the
What
soil.
did you grow in your chinampa?
You can see there I did rosette. Okay, the first thing I started off here was a leguminous plant. Yeah, is that a cat?
Yes, it's my cat. Don't mind my cat.
It's seeking your attention. Give him attention. Oh, all
Okay,
right.
what
So
did you grow?
the first thing I did for this island is I grew leguminous plants, and the concept of that is to prepare the soil. The leguminous plants are natural nitrogen fixers. So I plant the nitrogen fixers, let it grow, and then I go back in and cut it again. So there's a good amount of nitrogen inside, ready for the next crop to grow, and the roots themselves. I don't yank it out, just cut it, and then the roots themselves will turn into compost corridors for the next plant to grow. I grew rosella, okra.
Hey Jeff, could
That's
you
about
speak a bit louder? I can't really hear you.
all right. So that goes in. Right. So I grew rosella. I had kangkong. I had okra, papaya. I grew vegetables. I grew everything. I grew everything in this Chinampa. Everything grew well. Everything could hack it. The best was papaya. The papaya was insane. Papaya growing in this sort of format, it grew so thick. The bark grew so thick, and it was short. But the fruit that came out of it was so
Or
heavy, the whole
huge.
papaya snapped in half. The stem snapped in half. It just went pop. It broke in half. Yeah,
How did you make the chinampa? Like, did you use the excavator or
no, this was
how did
done
you
by
create
hand,
that
mate.
trench?
By hand. Chunkle and shovel, yo. Chunkle and
It was
shovel.
clay, right? It was clay before,
Yeah, it was
right?
clay. Yeah, yeah. Like I told you, that time I was skinny, dude. I was really, really skinny back then. Not anymore. I'm so
Oh
chubby.
my god.
But this was beautiful. The I I really think that for Brunei, chinampas are the way to grow. There's a few more things that need to be researched, or a few more things that need to go into this. But I really, really believe that chinampas are a beautiful system to use in Brunei, because come on, the amount of water that comes during rainy season is intense. That it just holds for a very long time. This is a really, really wonderful system. Out of everything I grew naturally on this farm, this system by far was the best, especially for
The most
papayas.
successful.
Yeah, yeah, for any papayas, the rosella that grew here just went nuts. The okra as well. I grew okra. It was insane. Everything was just another level on this one. I tried vegetables. Vegetables wasn't that good. It was not bad, but it wasn't that good. But papayas, I reckon bananas, rosella, uh, what's that? Crops like those, woody crops that grow up using this system, nice, very, very
How
efficient.
big was your chinampa? As in the length of it.
House,
Was it
not
10
sure.
meters? From I remember it was
Yeah, something like that, 10 to 15 meters long, and
And
about
then like
5 meters wide.
5 meters
No, no,
wide.
no. So 1, 2, 3. Oh yeah, no, three to 4 meters width and about 10 to 15 meters length.
How long did
Yeah,
it take
yeah.
to dig all that clay out to create the trenches?
I don't know. It was a dream. I think I was sleepwalking while doing it. I can't remember. It's such a that was real backbreaking. I would not want to try and do that again. This one you need to figure. I would figure a better method out to do something like this. But what it gives you later on is just unreal.
Mm.
Really,
So like
really unreal. And
the results are really, really like you can say it's worth the effort.
yes, yes, efficient. This is extremely efficient. Extremely efficient. Remember, Aztecs, the Aztecs developed this system. Aztec weather is sort of tropical as well.
Yeah.
It's also tropical. We just need to tweak it better for our climate instead. Then, nice, very nice. Now back to the land. Oh, okay. So left hand side was when the excavator came and did the number on the land. Right hand side,
It's
that
me.
young chap over there is Mr. Belay. That's when he came and started to volunteer on the farm because I was accepting volunteers, people, anyone who's willing to learn, to have fun and sweat, come on over and play. So the amount of change we did to that land, I found a plant called bitter leaf. And this plant, if you take the leaf and you eat it or you turn it into tea, it'll soothe your stomach, help with the gout, not get rid of it, but help with the gout. It'll settle your stomach. Good for you. From Africa, if I'm not wrong. This plant, I tell you, this plant, you give it the worst soil, it grows. It loves bad soil. It's insane. It loves bad soil. And that growth that is higher than Village, after stabilization of the plant in the ground,
Once the roots set.
Yeah, once the roots are set, and you cut it to if you cut it knee high, you mutilate it to your knee, give it 1 month, it grows that tall.
So all this
Is
was
that
in your clay cement soil from
Yeah,
that excavator
yeah,
over there.
yeah. Now the idea behind this is because what the clay soil needed was organic matter. And that's what we have. Or that's what I
So
brought
how
in.
did you plant this bitter leaf?
How did I plant it?
Yeah, like where'd you get it?
From the roadside.
From the roadside.
From the roadside. It grows here and there. It's just whether you can see it or not. But just grow. So I had this habit sometimes when I was in this farm. I had this habit. I'll be driving around and I'll just see something on the road going, what is that? Stop the car, get out. Sometimes if you see a guy, see a Chinese man like me on the road, I'm picking something out. So I actually took this from the ground and planted it out. I had a
So
friend.
you just like stab on the ground. Just stab
Yeah,
the branch.
just cut out the leaf and stab it in the ground. I actually gave it to a friend of mine first to grow. And then he couldn't take it. He gave me the rest and then I planted this. It's beautiful. It's crazy good. Now, every plant that grows has a place. It's just whether you can figure it out on where it goes in your farm. I figured for this plant, bitter leaf, it's an organic matter producer. Every month I can cut, drop, and that would give me the organic matter. And
Sacrificial plant.
It's a sacrificial plant. I grew it to cut it. And after all that, I get that. After what is that?
How long?
About 3 years. It took 3 years. to get to this stage. The picture on your left, that's 3 years. All right, let me explain what this is. The tree that you have, that you see, is a tree called hummingbird. You can see it like some red splotch at the top there. It's a flower tree. It's a leguminous tree, a nitrogen fixer. The flowers are red. It's edible. Sometimes you can find it in the market. So the flowers are edible. The leaves are small so the leaves will constantly drop, and it adds like a sprinkle of salt. So there's a sprinkle of
Yeah.
nitrogen ground, and it's a leguminous tree. So I grew this, one for shade, two
Two for organic
roots,
matter.
and for the organic matter.
Oh, wow.
Later on, I was planning on changing this tree into a rain tree. So because I wanted the umbrella. So it's a succession planting from a leguminous tree, later
Pioneering.
cut it, pioneering it, and then changing it into a rain tree. So it has an umbrella feel. So the rows that I figured out for this is supposed to be about, how many was it? 4? No, I like odd numbers. Everything I wanted to do was odd numbers. So 3. I wanted
6,
3.
9.
Yeah, some of the trees I needed to cut. So I wanted 3 trees in one row. Everything is done on rows. Okay, we're trying to go for the beautiful look. We're trying to go for the pretty look. Okay, so I adapted my style for the pretty look. So it's 3 hummingbird trees in one line, and then in the middle of it is 3 rows of grow beds. You can see on the right hand side, 3 rows of grow bed, and then the next row after the row is hummingbird tree. So it's hummingbird tree, 3 rows of vegetables, 1 row of hummingbird, 3 rows of vegetables, 1 row of hummingbird, and that was supposed to be the what's the word? That's supposed to be the system for this entire land. It's just hummingbird trees, and at the bottom is just vegetables.
The pattern.
Yeah, that's it. The pattern. So instead of building a greenhouse, I grew a greenhouse.
Okay.
It only took 3 years. It only took 3 years.
Oh, that's so quick, Jeff.
Yeah. Oh,
That's so
it's
quick.
Like a Zam. Yeah.
Like
But
magic.
look at this. Look at this. This is all right. So I mean, I can go into how to grow, how we did these grow beds later on. Okay, so grow beds. It goes under grow beds. The system that we developed and how we did these vegetables. But this all was growing underneath the trees, and I fell in love with this system. I tell you, man, this system was lovely. Really,
It was
liked it.
easy to work under the trees.
Oh, it was a joy. You were sweating on your farm. I was enjoying the coolness of the trees, messing with all the vegetables at the bottom. Yeah, lovely. But it's a different circumstance. Next, I also tried corn. So I was trying succession planting. All right, so hold your horses for this. So the idea was corn is a 3-month crop, vegetable is a 1-month crop. So I grew the vegetable and corn at the same time. So I wanted to maximize the yield of the plot. So I planted. I wanted to maximize the yield. So I planted vegetables first, and then I planted the corn almost about the same time. So as the corn is growing, the vegetables are growing. By the time 1 month is up, the corn is about waist high? It's about waist high. You say waist high, I'm gonna harvest the vegetables out and then allow the corn to keep on growing. Once the corn is about done, I try to replant the vegetable seeds at the bottom of the corn stalks. So, and then repeat the process again. That was the concept. That was the system that I was trying to do for this So it's a pure usage of the land as much
Constant.
as possible.
It's like constant
Constant.
rotation.
Yeah, but the reason why I was going for the constant rotation is because of our climate. We get hot blasting sun and we get lots of rain. So if you time it
Yeah.
right, there's so much energy coming on. There's so much energy coming down that we're not using it enough. So I was looking at this pattern and I
Yeah,
didn't finish.
we have intense energy in our climate here. It's like we have a moment of very aggressive sunshine, and then the next moment, all in one day, by the way, like today. What, like
Yeah,
this morning was blue sky, sunshine, and then later on the day, dark sky, heavy rain. So all these energy all in one day for your plant to absorb. If you can use
yeah,
that, it's like on steroids.
exactly. If you know how to utilize the weather here, it is insane. The amount of energy that comes down is unbelievable. So it's just that we
Yeah.
haven't got to that stage yet. We have no idea. We take granted. We still are looking at YouTube and watching everybody planting over there.
There's no research on it. Like there's no
No one does
literature.
research. No one does research. So I was doing it not because I wanted to do it. I was doing it because I had to do it
Yeah.
because my soil was so bad. Everything was it was because of my situation that I had to do all this. Right. So on the right, that's all the bitter leaf. A few days after we mutilated them, 1 month they'll be taller than me. It was insane. This organic matter galore. That was good. Now, back to the greenhouse. Don't forget, this is about 4 years worth, okay? Sort of condensed. 4 years
Mm.
condensed. So remember that chunky clay. I'm sure you remember it. It turned into
Yes.
this. So the concept of the corn, I changed it to what's that? Habanero. Yeah, so that's habanero, and I grew lettuce at the bottom. Again, trying to utilize all the sun, all the energy that comes down, and organic matter, just constant organic matter being piled on into the greenhouse. This greenhouse. So this one was nice. Look, is that not worthy? Is that not healthy?
It's
No
pretty.
pesticides. It's pretty. Yeah, it is. But this is functional pretty. Yeah.
Oh wow.
And so this on the left is a zucchini. You remember going to the zucchini? You brought your boys to see this zucchini.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, back at my old farm, zucchini was also like one of the target crops besides habanero because we had the idea you could sell zucchini for like $8 to $12 per kilo, and it's great. It sounds great. You can make big sales. But same thing, we plant it died, we replanted it, add the chicken poop, and then it died, and then we forced it. Then my friends were like hopeless. And I say, okay, go to Jeff's farm and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Then they go, they're like, oh my god, how it grew. It was
Yeah.
different.
They're going like, Gila, yo! The leaf was bigger than the hand was here, and the leaf is
The leaf is
twice
bigger
the
than our faces, okay? Like it's
yeah.
this big. The leaf can grow this big. And then each
That's what
stalk had like
yeah.
5 healthy zucchinis ready to be harvested.
Yeah,
Yes,
each
and they were
stock
very
was
thick. It's
it.
it's very healthy. Like your soil was very healthy, and it's like crazy how it could be so healthy when it started off as like concrete clay. You know,
That yes,
it
that.
started off that, and like you could have produced so much with that. It's crazy. Then like mine was a forest, but it couldn't produce anything. So again, if you think about it, why wouldn't my old farm, which was a land of forest, couldn't grow crops, whereas Jeff's old farm was cement, but it could grow like leafy greens and zucchini. It
Yeah,
all comes down to like,
there's a reason for that.
so what's the reason
We'll
you
go
think? Like, what's the most
do
simplest?
we'll do another one on that because that will go into another thing altogether. That's a different topic. There is a reason, but that's a different topic. Let's not go into that yet.
Okay, okay.
So this is what I mean by the power of Brunei's weather. The leaf, oh, whoopsie. The leaf was gigantic. The fruit we produced was succulent. And at the back, if you look at the back of the zucchini, the poles, I was
Yeah.
growing tomatoes as well.
Tomatoes. Yep, I remember.
Yeah,
Partner.
yeah,
They were called
I get
partner.
a, yeah, I shouldn't have done that, but hey, I was trying it out. No one did it. I wanted to try it out. Everybody keeps going, "You're a madman. You're a madman." But hey, at least someone did it.
Well, you consider that wasn't successful because like, you harvested
No,
a
no,
lot of
no.
tomato.
Yeah, but not this sort of companion planting, not this one.
Ah,
You
okay.
gotta use a different one, not this one. All right, on the left, right, on the right hand side, starting from the top, I think that was Choi Sam. Coming down was Skyline, and then this
Asian
back,
greens,
Asian greens, and then the big leaf that was Chinese cabbage. In Chinese we call it bai cai. So this cabbage, beautiful, beautiful. One of my favorites to grow and to eat. Now the cabbage that you see in the supermarket is like this. It closes in like that, right? That's the cabbage that you see in the supermarket.
Yeah.
That cabbage is grown in the winter time. It's closed because it's retaining the heat, right?
Mm.
That's winter cabbage. The cabbage that you see here is a cabbage that's opened up. So it's the opposite. It's expelling the heat. So
Yeah.
this bad boy, I got to the heaviest was 900 grams, almost 1 kg.
One plant.
Almost 1 kg. Beautiful one piece. Yeah, I had my customers, they'll just go and come here and just buy one. And they said
One big head.
one big head, you'll feed them for 2 days. It's like they'll chop the top to, I think, to stir fry, and then the bottom bit, because it's the crunchy bit, you go to soup. That was awesome. Yeah, I love that plant. It's awesome. And then this is from the aquaponics. That's my sweet Genovese basil. The leaf is bigger than my hand. That's the actual size of how big it grew in the aquaponics system. So that's using fish. Again, I'm not using any NPK. Everything is as natural as I can get it.
Okay.
And so this took over the whole system as well. It was also hard to keep this in check because it grew too fast. Yeah, look at that sun, all that energy. The nursery. The nursery was something I had to get used to. So I was doing the nursery as well. So I had to plant all the Chinese cabbage and all the crops, and I used something called seed blocks to do this. So this is how I planted it. So the seed blocks, instead of using the cups, I make the seed blocks, I plant the seed, and that's how I planted it. Reason for that is no stress, less use of materials, and you can put more in one tray. I was really efficient. And now we go to the other activities of the farm, what the farm did. Your cat's back, your cat's back.
It's okay. It's okay. Just leave him.
Much. So one of the things I did on the farm was I had Laksamana culinary school come in as well.
Mm.
So I
Yeah.
came here about twice. They did a cook up with their students. I gave them a tour around the farm, and then their chef did a cookout with a few of the ingredients they picked up from the farm, and they did that. I had school kids come over to learn. I'll teach them about the farm. I'll teach them about planting, and I'll teach them about all the stuff because this farm is the cleanest that they could find and had a lot of things to learn from. So I got to teach children, teenagers.
You did a lot of tours. Like you had
I
a
did a lot
system
of
for it,
tours.
and you had like you
Yeah.
can say the facilities to accommodate like more than how many? 10 people?
Ah, yeah, I'll definitely volunteer. I did 50. I think I did 50 before.
Like 50, 50.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I've done that before. So that was really fun. And the young Villet is back again. So he also came to help out here and there. So that's him on the left hand side, and that's him with lots of hair on the right hand side before he shaved it all off. So I
I had
accepted
the mullet.
volunteers. Yeah, you had the mullet. So volunteers came to the farm as well and helped out and learned what they could. So it's a good experience for everybody. So that's what I wanted to give to. There's no point me holding on to the knowledge. I was willing to let
Share.
anyone share. Right. So the produce. Okay. So if there's any questions before we go into the produce, shoot them out. If not, the produce that I'm going to show you here is just about let's say half half of what I produce. Okay, so it's just half of what I produce. I think some of you may have seen it before. Okay, so
It's
on
so
the left hand
pretty.
side,
Wow.
that's not Chinese cabbage. That was bok choy. Okay, then rosella. I had cauliflower, but the purple type. You can see the purple view.
Where did you grow your
I
cauliflower?
had a greenhouse.
Wow.
Yeah, I had butternut squash, zucchini, rosella, spinach, Chinese cabbage. What's that? That's kale, bananas. What you see there on your right, that's curly kale. Curly kale was grown in the greenhouse, full sun, a little bit of shade, no aircon, no fan, just blood, sweat, and tears. So yeah, so that's what I had. I did Swiss chard as well. Swiss chard
Wow.
was a bit more difficult. Swiss chard was a bit more difficult, but I still managed it. I had red long bean, papaya, winter melon,
Wow. Very beautiful. Now those are
mint.
your tomatoes.
Those were tomatoes. These were gorgeous. This was. I remember Dira. She's an intern that
Mm.
came to work on the farm. I was talking to her about taste. You know, if you try produce, you taste it, you should be able to get some sort of taste. It's not just supposed to be bland. It's just supposed to be. You gotta have some taste. So I gave her this tomato. She tried it, and the eyes just lit up, and she just said, "I did not know tomatoes tasted like this." That was an unreal moment. So yeah, I did my best. I set up my own market because I was selling all this organically. All the crops I grew did not contain
Mm.
any hazardous chemicals, and I would allow my customers a chance to see the farm as well. Come see pineapple, tomatoes, eggplant. I did flowers too. I was desperate. I needed the sales.
But
Flowers,
look,
flowers,
it looked
flowers.
pretty.
It looks pretty. Like, look, come on, look. You look at this market and you go, yeah, it looks pretty. His grass is green. It's really good. I'm tell you, no. I was sweating every day for this, literally, and and metaphorically. So this is just a nice Instagrammable picture of. I had to think about packaging. I had to
Mm.
think about growing. I had to think about maintenance. I had to think about the workers, for crop to grow, what the market wanted, what I could supply the market, and all of this is. I'm doing my best to try to keep the farm afloat. Yeah,
Yeah,
just doing my best. So that's the 900
900
gram
gram.
cabbage. That's how big it got. That was my happiest day. One of my happiest days. That's Dira holding it. You can't see her face. That's how insanely big it is. You literally can't see the head or the hair or anything. It's gone. She disappeared. She's a cabbage.
She
She
became kind of.
Yeah. So, all right. So it's a beautiful story that I'm telling you. It's a wonderful story, full of research, full of produce. I can't believe all this stuff. Oh, you did all that. I did all that because I had to. That land was so bad. It was so harsh. And I had my investor at the back of me going, "Come on, you got to make more money than that. You're falling behind." So I go, "Okay, okay, I'm thinking." And every day, the sun, the rain, the land is slamming me, the weeds coming up. I'm doing my best. I'm trying to find crops to be able to sell in order to cover my costs, especially the worker costs and the utility costs, the upkeep costs. I'm doing my best to do all this. But hey, did you forget something? I think we forgot something throughout this entire process. The
Mm.
girls. The girls felt so left out. This was the cash crop. If you go back to the first slide, if we because of that worry, you're worried like the focus in the beginning was great. You had the eggs, you built the foundation, I got the eggs coming out, then I had the compost coming out, and then it just went haywire. But it
Everything
didn't
went
go
south.
haywire. Yeah, it went south. But the thing is, it didn't go south immediately. It went
Over
south
time, bit by bit.
bit by bit by bit. The focus was lost. What I'm telling you, the eggs was keeping the whole farm alive, not the vegetables. The
Not the
eggs,
flowers. Not the
not the
pretty things,
flowers,
huh?
not at all. But the thing is, from the outside, you can't see it. From the outside, you go, just eggs.
Boring.
Really?
Yeah.
No way, you crazy. We need to see. Seeing is believing. I mean, sometimes that works and sometimes it doesn't. Seeing is
Yeah.
believing. We need to see the fields. We need to see the rows. We need to see. We need to see. Cut all that
That's
out.
what killed the farm.
That's what killed the farm. Seeing is believing. We
Yeah.
want to see. We want to see. We want to see. And then as a farmer, as a caretaker, as the person that's on hands on deck, I'm going, no, 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 no. But because it wasn't my land, wasn't up to me, I had to keep up. And we slowly just lost focus. If we just concentrated on eggs alone and the compost alone, it would not have been a problem. I'm sorry, girls. They would be so upset with me. It's a great journey. Look, I have nothing against what I experienced. I love the experience. All blood, sweat, and tears. It was a great experience. But what I'm trying to tell you farmers, if you guys are farmers or if you're just learning out
Interested. Yeah.
or interested, as long as you stay focused on your goal, always stay focused on your goal, It's fine to veer once in a while, sure, but stay focused. Ask for help. If you're stuck, ask for help. If you're not sure what to do, or your market, or you just got a slight problem, you are not alone. Everyone's in the same position. Everyone will lose focus. Just reach out, ask for help. Look, this face value means nothing. You staying alive, you believing in what you got to do means everything. Look, it trust me, if you just stick to your guns, you're good. You can bypass a lot of things. It's not a problem to bypass a lot of things. You just stay true to what you want to do. And then if you stay true to what you want to do, all the supporting products that you will sell later on will be will come in time.
Ah, yeah,
Don't
yeah, yeah.
force it. Don't force it. It will come. Every farm's got a waste product. Every farm's got a
Ah,
waste product.
yes.
Your waste product could be someone who wants it. You just don't know it.
Like another man trash, another man treasure thing.
Always the case. Always the case. Hey, if I sold my compost as a, because at that moment it wasn't a lot, but if I sold my compost as a form of, say, a soil tea, you just take the extract the microbes and pour that over your land. That would benefit you even more. There's so many
Mm.
ways to work around it, but because of someone said this, someone said that, someone said this, and then you go, oh yeah, maybe, and then you go into that, and that just takes you
You veer
off.
off, yeah.
You veer off. So it's okay, okay. If you're veering off, you know you're veering off. Come back. Slowly push your back. Just accept the failure and just come back. Nothing wrong with failure. Nothing wrong with it. It only makes you stronger. Yeah, that's that's my journey. That's it. That's my journey. Oh, let's go back to that slide again. Oh, achievement. This was one of my achievements. Love it.
Wow.
But talk about off the rails. Yeah, talk about off the rails. I had to go into flowers. Talk about really off the rail. It
From
was
from
it was
chickens to
crazy.
florist.
From chicken to vegetable to fruit to forage. It was, now, what I'm telling you now is a condensed version of what I went through on the farm. This is a condensed version
4 years.
for 4 years, just trying to keep up. Whereas if you just stuck to the original plan, I wouldn't need. Do you see the plant at the back of the sunflower?
The red ones, the
Yeah,
purpley red ones.
that's amaranth. That's amaranth. In Malay, you call it biomera. Usually, you just eat the leaf, but this is the seeding type. You can, if you harvest a seed of this, you can use that seed and turn it into a flower.
Like a
This
grain.
is the main. This is a great crop of the Amazonians.
Oh. Do you still have
Yeah,
the seeds? No, no.
I know where to get it,
Okay,
but I
okay.
don't have it.
Um, seed
Yeah.
saving is like another topic to bring
No,
up.
no, no. That one's another topic, dude. Yeah, yeah. I was. You can't. I was so overloaded. It was my plate was just overflowing, and the whole idea is just to be able to earn enough to keep the farm afloat.
Yeah.
That,
You're just again
that's
all over
pretty
the place.
I was all over the place too. There was no focus, no proper focus because of
Spread too
outside
thin.
influence. Outside influence. I want to
Yeah.
see. That's what I heard a lot. I want to see the sound of music. I, I want to see the rolling hills. I saw this program. I saw this program on my phone. I want that. I want that. No, no. You. Every country is different. Every country's culture, every country's climate, your soil, everything is different. You need to
Yeah.
customize your farm to suit that. You have to. If you don't, it'll be a total mess. This is what I've
So
come
like,
to realize.
so what? Like, so for some people, they don't get the reference of Sound of Music. This is what Jeff's talking about,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Just
yeah, yeah.
pure meadow, easy field, nice and cool weather. The grass is short, not hot. You can sit down.
I play
It's like
guitar and
this.
sing. Yeah.
But again, reality is Brunei is not like that.
No, Brunei is in your face. Here is the hot sun. Bam! And then just for the kicks, I'll give you 5 minutes of
Heavy
slamming
rainfall.
rain, heavy rainfall. After that, here's the sun again. Bam! Why do you think every country has come to Brunei to try to grow and have left? Okay, you can name all the countries: Philippines, Indonesia, Thailand, Taiwan,
Taiwan,
China,
Japan.
America. Well, who else? Malaysia. Everyone has come to this country and said, "Oh, fantastic!" In hindsight, fantastic. Once they start, they go, uh,
No.
uh, see ya. They don't last. They don't last because we have to develop our own research for our own climate, our own culture, our own growing, our own food. We have to. We don't. We're just we're just in trouble. That's all. We're just in trouble. Oh. Anyway, yeah. So that ends my presentation.
That ends your side. So like
Ends my side.
again, it goes back to like you had to do all that instead of chickens. That was the simplest method of actually working. You ended up doing the greenhouse, you end up doing the chinampa, you end up doing the vegetables and then the flowers and then the nursery. All that was you're giving yourself a hard time, essentially, right?
Yes. Yes.
So it's like they come to a point where you can see like how the steps that took you there, like the little things, the little events that led you to that unnecessary hard point in your farm. You know, like the saying, the path to hell was built with good intention.
Okay.
It's something like that. Like you wanted to do something good, to solve a problem, but you end up making things worse,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yes, that's
So
right.
like
Yeah.
if the following slides will show stuff like a guideline to for you to be like self-aware. If you have this mentality, you're gonna go you know you're on the wrong path, basically. So one of it is like if you see this picture, right? This picture and then this picture. It's like this mindset of like envy, jealousy, of comparing yourself with other people and other farms. Like I would back then see Jeff grow his zucchinis so great, so well, and all his produce. And I'm like, if he's growing, I want to grow like that. I want to do what he's doing. Then I do it, but then I fail. Is because my soil is completely different from your soil. My land is different from your land. So it's like, why do you want to copy people when you are totally different? That's like, again, when you're farming, and if you have that mindset, you catch yourself, hey, why am I comparing? At least you can stop yourself from, going down the bad path. You get what I'm saying? Or Jeff, can you
Believe in
hear me?
yourself. Yeah, believe. I was just gonna say, believe in yourself. Have faith. If you got problems, ask. Say it. Don't be
Mm.
scared. We farmers will band together. We all know what you're going through. You find the right farmer group, you're fine. We'll help you as the best we can. But you got to be able to take the criticism. Now we're going through our slides, we're going through memory lane. We're actually heavily criticizing ourselves, and that's
Yeah,
never a
yeah.
pretty thing to do. It's not a pretty. When I was putting the slides together, I was in pain. I was like, oh,
It wasn't
why,
fun. It was
why,
just
why,
like,
why,
yeah. I felt a lot of
why?
like regret and like self hate. I'm like, oh my god, why did I do this? Why did I let that happen? Yeah, it's all like that.
In the heat of the moment, you can't be helped. And in the heat of the moment, also when people keep talking to you, chitter chatter, people, someone you tell your friend, hey, I'm doing this, I'm planting this, and then the friend goes, oh really? You know what? I heard that if you grow vegetables, it's gonna earn a lot of money. And you think, no way, I must do that. And someone will say,
Yeah,
oh, you know what? You do this, no, do that, no, do this, no, do that. You got all these people just giving you ideas. And look, first of all, look at the person and see if the person is an actual farmer or not. If he's an
yeah, yeah,
actual farmer. If he's not a farmer, just take it with a pinch of salt and say thank you very much and move along. Because because if you are sick, are you going to get advice? If you're going to get medical advice from an architect, no, you're gonna go and ask a, you're gonna go and find a doctor. So same as a farmer. If you want an advice about growing or you got problems about growing or whatnot, you go talk to a farmer. You don't talk to a doctor. You don't go to a doctor, hey doctor, I got problems growing my zucchini. Can you help me out? It's not
Panadol.
gonna work.
Jeff, there was one time at my old farm, we were so desperate that we decided to actually use aspirin to help speed up the growth of one of our crops. It's
Oh
like one of our
man.
guys like, dude, I saw online they use aspirin to speed up the growth. Then we're like, okay, you know what? Let's just do it. Then we like bought some aspirin and like diluted it and then poured. Then hindsight, I'm like, if that worked, great. But if you're gonna do that for like a
A
whole
field.
acre, yeah, a field of plants, it would look ridiculous.
Yeah,
So yeah,
that's desperation right there. So again,
yeah,
it looks pretty, but it was pretty useless. We kept on going. We kept on saying that a lot of
yeah.
times.
It's yes. So this one, yeah, this is like applies to me the most because for your case, like I mentioned, you were like doing the nursery, the greenhouse, the chinampa, the chickens, the flowers. At least you were managing, okay? Like you were managing. Yeah, you were dying, but you were managing. I was like I was like on a sinking ship and like I was stupidly making holes everywhere in the ship. It's like, oh, I want to do
Right.
the corn. I want to do the durians. I wanted to do the tongkat ali. I wanted to do the zucchini. I wanted to do the habaneros. I wanted to do the chickens, the ducks. All that was like each of them weren't successful. So everything was a disaster. But I was just kept going, kept going, kept going, kept changing. So I felt like this dog. I felt like this dog like on the later like period at the farm. It's like everything was a disaster. I would drive up to there and then see everything dying, and I'm like, it's okay, it's okay. Just keep going, just keep swimming. But
Mm.
what I learned from that is truly, truly, truly just like one thing at a time, slow and steady, stay focused. It's really tempting to like try new things because we like new things, right? But you still have to do the boring stuff, the quote unquote boring stuff that don't look pretty. For example, your chickens, right? People say like, oh, just chickens, it doesn't look pretty. But that's your lifeline, you know?
Yeah.
That's the one that actually works. So just like what I learned is stay focused and do not veer off. And yeah, again, like don't overcomplicate things, you know? It's like people say, oh, you should do this type of technique. You should put aspirin in the plant so it grows bigger. It's why make it so difficult? Why overcomplicate things when you could have just stuck to the basics, you know? Stick to the basics and you'll be fine. Most of the time is that like once you're stuck, I remember when I come to you for advice, you always tell me just remember the basics and just reapply the basics. If you feel like you're stuck, it's probably because you're overthinking and you're overcomplicating things. Just stick to the basics. Down like, okay, okay, okay. Then work.
And
Like for
breathe.
example, the
And
quad.
breathe. Breathe, man. Breathe. Always breathe.
But yeah, again, this one's also the most important. Like this is just like a basic quote. Like, alone you go fast, but together you go far. So like the main point of doing this podcast is to like cultivate people who are interested or who are in this field of agriculture, and like to let them know that they're not alone. Because sometimes you feel like you're on your own and everybody's just closed off, you know? Everybody's in competition. Because that was like my mindset back then. Everybody's in competition. We were competing with farms. Who can grow better? Who can grow faster? Who can grow bigger? But like, if you have that mindset, you don't want to share, you end up being overwhelmed and then you fail. But if everyone just like collab with each other, like, hey, I need help here, I need help here. Okay, I'll help you there. Can you help me here? Yeah, you know, if you all collab, that's the best.
Yeah. Example, if let's say if I could take away my nursery, I get someone else. I go, hey, dude, I'm busy preparing my land. Can you grow for me instead of just buy from you? You grow it. If you've got more time to take care of a nursery, and I'll just buy the seedlings off you, that saves me a lot of time, a lot of hassle. If you can make the fertilizer, you can make the compost, I buy from you. Instead of me making it, I need to spend my time preparing the land. If you can make it for me, we can make a deal. Mate, if you can make a deal, let's make the deal. That can become your business. I buy from you. I carry on growing it out. Work together. We don't need to do everything alone. It's just madness. It is madness. We need to work together.
Yeah, I agree. So it circles back to the same question. It's like, is farming really that hard, you know? To me, it's not. It's just we make it difficult.
Yeah,
You know,
I second that.
sometimes we have problems in life and you would catch yourself. Sometimes it's all in your head. But when it's in farming, most of the time it's in your head. Like I do this stupid stuff is because I was overthinking, you know? I was thinking about the outside. Oh, it doesn't look great. Oh, what people will think. but it's really just in your head. If you just like trust the basics, you trust the process, you trust yourself, your guts, you'd be fine. It's just have confidence and faith in yourself. It would work.
It will
Yeah.
work. I agree. It will work. If you did, if you said you want to do a farm, you sit down, you work the numbers out. After you work the numbers out, you work your design out. After you've done your design, you know your path, you know your direction, you know which way you're going. Now you know which way you're going, start doing it. And when you start doing it, you definitely you'll you'll go you get some highs and you get some lows, and you get some highs and you get some lows. Accept it. Accept it. You also accept failure. That's the fastest way to grow is by accepting your failure, taking it, learning it, and then keep going. Don't stop. It, you have no idea the amount of failures I had for 4 years. The amount that I failed, as in growing wise, the amount of crops I that died, the amount of systems that I had to go through trial and error to learn, to get to understand it, it's crazy. So it's just accept the failure. When you start, you just say to your head, man, I know failure's coming, but doesn't matter. Let's just keep pushing. I'm not stopping. Let's keep pushing and keep going and go, 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 go. That's if you got that mindset in your head, you're fine. You're good to go. If you don't have it, band together. Find those people that will encourage you, always encourage you. Even if that person has no idea what you're talking about, but he encourages you going, don't give up, keep going. Yampate. You know, it's like go, 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 go. Just keep him close. Haters, just take it with a pinch of salt and move along. You know what I mean, right? You get what I mean.
Yeah, yeah,
You get what I mean. Yeah.
yeah,
That.
yeah, yeah.
Right. Okay. Take it away.
I like that. I like that. I like that. But yeah, there's always hope. Don't give up. You know, like sunshine after the storm kind of thing. But this is we've reached our time for our talk. So I'm so happy and I appreciate everybody. So thankful and grateful for everybody who watch and support us. Not just the people in this live, because there's only 6 people. You guys are the best. But everybody who's just like everybody who followed us on our Instagram, you can catch me on Instagram as The Grays, and you can catch Jeff as The Tropical Farmer on Instagram. Soon, this YouTube channel will have more content as well, and we're planning in the future as well to do more talks. So stay tuned, everybody, and thank you so much for tuning in. And there will be more in the future. Any last words, Jeff?
Yeah, thanks. This is our first time doing this. Hopefully, we'll get a bit more comfortable the next time we do this, and we
Yeah.
hope to give even better content next time. I guess. Stay tuned.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. So we'll be seeing you next time. Thank you so much. Bye, everybody.
Bye.